What's up, guys? It's Frank from Trove, and welcome to the Collectible Breakdown, where we get the chance to sit down with you guys and share all the cool stuff that we're seeing with the Collectible platform, and also some really cool opportunities for you guys to take advantage of as well. Today, I want to jump into a few different things. I want to talk about the NBA season being here, because I think with basketball cards in particular, there's some really good opportunities over these next few months. But in addition to that, I also want to look into some sports memorabilia outside of cards that I think are lagging in the overall collectible space that I expect to start doing a lot better over these next 6 to 12 months. It's been a lot of fun watching what Collectible's been doing, and if we look at the fractional ownership space, there's been a lot of growth over the last year, but I still think that there are so many sports card collectors that don't genuinely understand the opportunity that it presents. If you look at the sports card market over the last 6 months, we continue to see low-end cards and base cards not performing particularly well, but if we look at the high-end stuff and the truly critically important items, whether this is modern or vintage, we're still seeing really strong auctions, and I think there's a whole part of the card market that's frustrated thinking that they can't be exposed to these types of items, but they actually can. With fractional ownership, it provides me the opportunity to invest directly in some of the most important pieces of sports memorabilia and cards that I would have never been able to get my hands on. I don't need to be able to spot a couple $1 million to buy some incredible Mickey Mantle rookie card, but on Collectible, I could buy a share and I could get a little piece of the action, and when I believe that that card 5-10 years down the line is going to continue to appreciate in price, and we're going to continue to see more people craving alternative assets, it provides an opportunity where I'm not just forced to be flipping Prism base cards of guys like Miles Bridges. So for today's episode, I want to focus heavily on the basketball card market. The season started last week. We're seeing tons of demand in the basketball card space, which makes tons of sense. Something that's true across all sports with sports cards, and it's been true for a super long time, is that people, when the season comes around, they love to sit back, watch their favorite players. People overreact to what people were doing early on in the season, thinking it's going to hold true for the rest of the year. And throughout the entire season in general, we see a reactionary nature where if a player has a couple great games, their sports cards are going to react. But today, I don't want to focus on players that I think you could flip quickly. I want to be talking about the players that I think are going to be super important throughout the season. And by the time we get to the spring, there are going to be players and cards in particular of these players that I think are going to be performing really well. So the first basketball card that I'm looking at right now on the Collectible platform that I'm really excited about is Giannis's 2013 Immaculate Gold RPA number to 10. If we look at Giannis's card market in general, if someone were to tell me 18 months ago that we would get to a point where Giannis was undervalued, I would call them nuts. But I honestly think that it's happening right now because I don't think that his card market has received the necessary boost for him winning a championship. At the age of 26, Giannis is now a 2-time league MVP. He's a defensive player of the year. He is an NBA Finals MVP. And we're looking at a player who over the next 5 to 7 years is going to be one of the top couple players in the league. He's going to continue to add to this. He's at the point now where he can actually build a resume that makes him a top 15, top 20 player of all time quite easily. He's gotten over the hardest hurdle of winning a championship. Giannis was historically great in this postseason, particularly in the finals. And if we think about Giannis cards, I'm looking at this Immaculate Gold RPA, and it's cheaper today than what it was back 6 months ago. 6 months ago, the card was $10.90 a share. Today, it's $9 a share with a market cap under $45,000. I'm looking at this card, and I like Immaculate. I love that it's a gold RP number to 10. But overall, I like just putting money into Giannis right now. I understand in 2019, he won league MVP, but he choked in the postseason. In 2020, in the NBA bubble, he choked again, and people were really surprised about this. But Giannis has now gotten over that hurdle. Let's not forget, if we look at LeBron, if we look at Kevin Durant, it took them time to win a championship. They had playoff struggles. Giannis has now gotten to the point where he is an NBA Finals MVP. He dominated in Game 6 of these NBA Finals with one of the best performances of all time. I'm now looking at Giannis as that next guy who I can invest in today, and looking 7 years from now, I would be very happy that I got involved with his cards. If we look at this Immaculate RPA in general, I think that the visual appeal of it is incredible. The patch is really good, and I think that that's something that's undervalued. People like to just look at national treasures and say, that's the best, I'll just put my money into that. But I think if we're looking long-term, collectors, people that truly want Giannis stuff for decades, they're going to want the best stuff visually, the stuff that's scarce. And I think that this Immaculate Gold RPA answers that for them. And to lead me into the second card that I'm looking at on Collectible right now, the only thing that would make sense for me for someone who wouldn't want to invest in Giannis would be because they believe that the Brooklyn Nets are going to dominate the East for the next couple of years. And if that's the case, if you're one of these people, you should be looking at Kevin Durant's Topps Chrome Refractor rookie card in a PSA 10 because it's actively trading for $20 a share with a market cap of $25,000. And I think that that's a good play right now. We look 1 month ago, this card was trading for $27 a share. KD has looked really good this season. And I just think back to last NBA season where people were getting so excited over Durant cards. And the narrative is super clear. If KD could win a championship, bring it to New York. The Nets have never won a title ever. New York hasn't won a title since the 70s. It would be incredible for his card market. It would be incredible for his legacy because it would get him to a point where a lot of people would start talking about him as a top 10 player of all time. I think if we're looking today with the NBA season starting in October, the NBA Finals not happening until June, I see a really long window where the narrative is going to be really good for KD. Potentially could win an MVP. I think he's 100% going to be in the discussion. The Nets are going to be one of the best few teams in the league. This card was once $50,000 back in the spring. I think getting into it with the market cap of $25,000 leaves a lot of upside. And just thinking about LeBron's Topps Chrome base PSA 10, this card is selling in the high teens right now. For $25,000 to get Kevin Durant's Refractor, a much more scarce card, I would be buying into that right now. If we look at this card, it has a population of 190. It's the iconic Topps Chrome image. And when we look at a player's market, and in particular players that are in the Topps Chrome era, their Topps Chrome base, the Topps Chrome Refractor, are usually the first pieces to really jump up when their market goes crazy. And I do believe that there are going to be periods of time during this NBA season, and the regular season and 100% of the postseason, when Kevin Durant is getting a lot of attention. We remember what he did last postseason. Just in the Eastern Conference Finals, we were talking about him like crazy. Game 5 and Game 7 were incredible historic performances for him. When we get to a point later in the season and there's a lot of discussion around Kevin Durant potentially winning a championship, I believe that this card is going to go up in price. In this episode, the trend that I'm trying to show you guys is I really like looking at basketball cards right now of the best players on the teams that I believe are going to be most successful throughout the season. So in the Eastern Conference, I just talked about Giannis and KD. They are the leaders of the two teams in the East that I believe have the highest chance of coming out of the conference. And I think if we look at their cards over the course of the season, it's going to be a lot of really good narratives around them. And by the time we get to the postseason, I see them winning multiple series. So now to take this over to the Western Conference, the team that I like the most is the Lakers. And I know that this might be a little bit of a hot take right now, given the Lakers have gotten off to a slow start. But I do think that this LeBron-led team will figure it out. Literally every single season over the last decade, when LeBron James is healthy come the postseason, he takes his teams to the finals. We look at LeBron 12 months ago winning the championship. We then look at LeBron this past spring being the MVP favorite or second in MVP voting before he hurts his ankle, and then we get to the postseason, the Lakers inevitably lose in the first round. But now we see LeBron back healthy, Anthony Davis is healthy, the Lakers have added 7 guys to the roster who shoot 38% or better from three-point, and I just think it's going to take a little bit of time for this roster to get going. Russell Westbrook needs to become a valuable piece, but I do expect the Lakers to figure it out. LeBron James is the face of the team. He's going to be the guy that everybody talks about throughout the season, and I expect LeBron to play well, which I believe in result is going to help his sports card market. I love the ability to buy LeBron cards now, anticipating that I believe come the postseason, the Lakers are going to come out of the West. But at the exact same time, there's no other modern athlete outside of LeBron and Tom Brady where you don't have to worry about speculative things in the future. They can retire today. They're still going down as one of the best few players in their sport ever. And when we look 50, 60 years from now, their cards are still going to be incredibly demanded. The LeBron card that I'm watching right now on the Collectable platform that's actively trading is his SP Authentic Auto number to 500 in a BGS 9.5. I know everybody thinks about his exquisite RPA, and they should. It's his best rookie card. I love the card. But at the exact same time, that card continues to break records, whereas if we look at the SP Authentic, it is on a discount right now relative to where it was in the spring. If we look at LeBron's exquisite RPA number to 99 in a BGS 9, it sold for $1.7 million in April, and now most recently sold for over $2 million in August. But if we look at the SP Authentic Auto number to 500, the one that's trading on Collectable, it was once $60 a share on the platform. It's now under $30 a share, with the market cap of only $58,000. Obviously, it's a super expensive card, but I have seen a pullback on it to the point where I do think that getting in on it today does provide upside as we continue to see the exquisite RPA go up in price. Over the last couple of months, we've seen this SP Auto and a PSA 9 sell for $40,000 or more on 2 occasions. And if we look at the BGS 9.5 only having a market cap of $58,000, I don't think that spread is justified. I think the BGS 9.5 should be selling for more relative to a PSA 9, and I think the more expensive the exquisite gets, it's going to price people out and it's going to force them to look to other really good LeBron rookie cards. And I think that this SP Authentic is an amazing alternative, and the ability to buy fractional shares of it, I could buy a share of it for under $30. I think it's a really cool LeBron rookie play. So now, after talking about some modern basketball cards that I really like on the Collectable platform, I want to go beyond that because I think that there are tons of opportunities in the sports memorabilia space if you're looking in the right places. Michael Jordan's Fleer rookie card in a PSA 10 has 319 copies. This card back in the summer of 2019 was $20,000 and now is selling for $300,000. We have seen massive growth in the basketball card market, but I would argue that the memorabilia space in basketball, if we're looking at game-used jerseys from really important events, game-used balls, game-used shoes, I just think that that market's untapped because it's a lot harder to comp and it's really hard to get educated. Because if we look at Michael Jordan's 86 Fleer rookie card, everybody has the same card. There's just a couple of Jordan rookie cards. There's not that much you have to get educated about. But when we're talking about game-used memorabilia, it's a lot less liquid because everything is unique. Everything is a one of one. So I think it's harder for people to comp things, harder for people to make plays and get their hands on these pieces of memorabilia. So I think it forces a lot of people to not pay attention to it. But in reality, if you're looking in the right places, I believe that there are tons of opportunity. On Collectable right now, you could purchase a share of a Michael Jordan game-used rookie jersey autographed by him for $14 per share. And the total item has a market cap under $340,000. If we compare that to the 1986 Fleer rookie PSA 10, there's 319 of that Jordan rookie. There's also the Jordan sticker rookie. There's the Star rookie. There's the Interlake rookie. There's a lot of different Jordan rookies. But if we're talking about game-used rookie jerseys that are autographed, the supply is much lower. And personally, I believe that it is a cooler item. So to be able to get it one for one, to choose to buy into an 86 Fleer Jordan or to buy into this game-used rookie jersey, I'm going to take the jersey every day. And I do think that long term, that will rise at a higher rate. When I saw the Kobe rookie jersey sell for over $3 million on Golden back in May, it really made me realize that there's opportunity in this market, but it's really hard for collectors to get their hands on their own memorabilia like this. If we're looking at sports cards all the time, Golden Auctions, PWCC, you could always buy these high-end cards. But in terms of the memorabilia, it's sometimes really hard to track down these items. They don't come up very often. So to have the ability to buy shares in a game-used Michael Jordan rookie jersey, I personally love it. And another piece of basketball memorabilia that's really cool in the Collectable platform right now that's currently IPOing is Kareem's game-used ball from his last regular season game ever. Kareem in his career scored 38,387 points. This is the ball he used to score his final bucket. It's the same ball from his last game ever. He inscribed on it that it was his last game ever. He wrote the record-setting points. And to have that ball, I believe that it is something that is extremely valuable. And what's really interesting to me is the fact that if we look at Kareem's rookie cards since 2019, they 5-6x in price. But if we look at his game-used ball, it's sold back in 2019 on Golden Auctions for $270,000. The IPO market cap for this item on Collectable is only $375,000. That is not even double the price where we've seen his rookie cards 5-6x. And this is honestly a perfect example of what I was just talking about, where I think rookie cards have risen in price a lot for these all-time greats. Everybody's focused on this market, but in terms of the memorabilia and the really important items to go along with these all-time great players, I just think that this market has so much potential. If we're looking at the rookie cards of Kareem, 5-6x, where this game-used ball back in 2019 sold for $270,000, now you get in at a price of $375K. I think when we look 30 years from now, in my eyes, it's a lot more likely that this game ball can grow at a higher percentage rate. And I honestly think that critically important sports memorabilia is a market that is going to continue to grow over these next couple of years as more and more people realize that there is an opportunity there. And this upcoming week on Collectable, you have the opportunity to buy into another really cool piece, which is A-Rod's game-worn uniform for the 2009 World Series when the Yankees won it all. The last game, the clinching game, A-Rod wore this uniform, he signed it. It is an incredible piece of A-Rod history. It's probably his best item out there, at least in the top couple items that you could possibly have from Alex Rodriguez. And to be able to buy in and get a couple of shares of that, I think that that could be a really cool opportunity. This A-Rod game-worn World Series uniform is IPOing with a market cap of $136,500. And this just feels like a perfect example of a really important modern baseball piece that just doesn't get attention in the overall community. But if we look at Alex Rodriguez cards, I'm sure come February, March, his rookie cards are going to be going up in price as baseball is performing well in general. But if we're talking about this game-worn uniform, this is a one of one. In terms of Alex Rodriguez memorabilia, it really doesn't get better than this. So to be able to buy a share of it for $13, I think is incredibly cool. I love collecting sports cards more than sports memorabilia, but at the end of the day, they both provide really cool opportunities to buy pieces of sports history. Whether you love cards or whether you love memorabilia, on Collectable, you have the ability to buy into some really cool items that on your own you would not be able to afford. And the fact that you can then trade those shares on the marketplace and easily be able to flip, I think it's an incredible opportunity. And I think that there are some people in the hobby that need to pay more attention to fractional, because in the long term, I think it's going to continue to grow. We appreciate you guys checking out this Collectable breakdown. If you have not yet downloaded the Collectable app, we highly recommend you do so. This is where you're able to buy shares and trade your shares of the really cool items that are on Collectable. We appreciate you guys listening to today's episode, and we will be back very shortly for another one.